Hi, this is Donna. I'm coming to you again with a few words of encouragement. Today I want to talk to us about slowing down, and I say us because I'm talking to myself as well. We live in a very fast-paced world. We can all agree with that, but I wanted to look in the Bible and read scripture and see what the Bible tells us about how we're supposed to be observing things. And I start with Jesus when he was 12 years old. His parents were looking for him. They had gone to Jerusalem and they couldn't find him. And Jesus was in the synagogue teaching. And he wasn't in a hurry. He wasn't worried that his parents were looking for him. And I'm not saying that's the way a child should act, but this was Jesus. And he was about his Father's business. And he took the time that he needed to do what God had called him to do. And then we read in John 11 the story of Lazarus. And Mary and Martha sent for Jesus because their brother was very sick. Jesus loved Mary and Martha and Lazarus, yet he lingered an extra 2 days where he was before he went to him. And as we know in the story, he raised Lazarus from the dead. But there was a point that it says in the scripture that his delay was for the glory of God and to show his majesty, Jesus, and what he could do. And so he was certainly not in a hurry there. And then in Mark 5, there's a woman that believes that if she can just get close enough to Jesus as he's traveling through the countryside, just to touch the hem of his robe, that she would be healed. And he felt her presence when she reached out and touched him, and he stopped. And he spoke to her and encouraged her. And the disciples were trying to keep her away from him, trying to rush him along, but Jesus wasn't going to be rushed along. So physically, Jesus, when he went on his journeys, he didn't always take the direct path. Sometimes he went around and about to go to visit the woman at the well and various other things. So we get that from our scriptures. And then also, I think emotionally, Jesus wasn't rushed. When he was in the Garden of Gethsemane before his crucifixion, he went through 3 or so hours of agony, going through the process of praying to his Father, saying, if you can remove this from me. Nevertheless, he got to the point where he was saying, nevertheless, your will is what I want. So it took time. That took time. So I think there's a lot for us to learn from that. Other scriptures tell us in Matthew 6:28, talks about telling us to stop and smell, or we've all heard the term stop and smell the roses, but then in Matthew 6, Jesus tells us to consider the lilies of the field, which I think is similar to the stop and smell the roses that we have. Consider. You have to take the time to consider things. And then also, Psalm 46:10 tells us to be still and know that I'm God. There's something in that stillness, in taking that time to go through processes. In Hebrews, Paul tells us to run with endurance. Endurance. That's not something you do quickly. You train. You go through the agony of pushing yourself to make it through that race. And Psalm 62:5 reads, for God alone, O my soul, wait in silence, for my hope is from him. So I think there's a lot of things in the Bible that speak to this, to remind us that it's okay to slow down. I know there's a lot of things that we go through in life that we have to go through it slowly. Grief, we have to go through that slowly. You don't just jump over steps in that, because it'll come back and you'll have to go back and redo some of the processes that you go through as you grieve the loss of a loved one. And so today I just want to encourage you to think about that. Think about slowing down, taking the time. If it means getting up a little earlier in the day, spend a little time with the Lord to begin with, get your direction for the day. It will be time well spent. So I hope you have a great day. Have a great weekend. It's coming up. And I look forward to talking to you again soon. Thanks.